Do you think this is a good thing? Do we need to diversify the countryside?
I think absolutely. It's been white for far too long.
Dear English people, when are you going to have enough? How long are you going to accommodate this nonsense? This African man comes into your country, gets welcomed and given a bunch of privileges, but instead of gratefully thanking you guys for accepting him with open arms, he turns around and complains that your countryside actually look like your countryside. He says, England's countryside has been white for far too long. Imagine that coming from a black immigrant living in England. How totally bold of these immigrants. The great replacement is no longer a theory. It is now a reality. And we are seeing it being accomplished in places like the UK. This time, we are looking at England. Something extremely dreadful and horrible is happening in England as we speak. The English government is making plans to destroy every ounce of whiteness in England, a country who is white, by the way. This article reads, Labour draws up plans to make Britain's countryside less white in nationwide diversity drive. It says, rural officials across England have signed up to plans aimed at making the British countryside more ethnically diverse under a wide-ranging initiative coordinated by Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs, DEFRA. Protected landscapes across the country, including the Chilterns, Cotswolds and Malvern Hills, have adopted diversity targets designed to attract more ethnic minority visitors to areas traditionally dominated by white middle-class Britons. We are all paying for national landscapes through our taxes, and yet, sometimes on our visits, it has felt as if national parks are an exclusive, mainly white, mainly middle-class club, the report said. Our countryside will end up being irrelevant to the country that actually exists. Imagine the nonsense. In 2022, DEFRA commissioned a £108,000 study titled Improving the Ethnic Diversity of Visitors to England's Protected Landscapes. The research found that first-generation immigrants often perceive protected areas as spaces designed for white, middle-class people. Traditional pubs were identified as a particular concern, with the report noting Muslims from the Pakistani and Bangladeshi group said this contributed to a feeling of being unwelcome. Unfortunately, it is only a matter of time before the only surviving thing that makes England still English will be ripped apart by their self-hating leaders plagued with suicidal empathy. Very soon, the English shires will transform into a pile of land with waste and rubbish littering everywhere. Millions of brown and black faces who look nothing like the owners of the land. Calls to prayer blasting from large speakers. Sharia courts in every street. No more pubs, no more dogs allowed. Lots and lots of protest from third worlders demanding for rights they didn't merit. Oh, England is truly about to be messed up bad, and it utterly breaks my heart to see it happen.
Hello and welcome back. Now, of all the things, that the government are wasting money on, this is just ridiculous. Money from DEFRA, the Department of the Environment, Food and Rural Affairs. You know, the ones who seem to think you have to tax farmers for passing on their land to their kids. Well, they seem to have enough cash money to go about writing some absolutely insane woke report. Because they've decided they should take it upon themselves to try and make the British countryside a less white environment under nationwide diversity plans. Officials in rural areas such as the Chilterns and the Cotswolds have pledged to attract more minorities under plans drawn up by DEFRA. What? If you want to go to the Cotswolds, you just drive there or get on a train. There's no sort of like checkpoint where it goes, oh, well, you know, what skin colour, what nationality are you, what is your race, what's your religion? No, you just go. If you want to go to the countryside, you can go to the blimmin' countryside. Turns out they don't want to. And why should they have to? If they don't want to, then great, don't. Meanwhile, certainly, without doubt, in certain parts of the countryside, here's looking at you, Lake District. Some communities clearly have plans to ensconce themselves with mega mosques in those parts.
I'm not actually going to be blaming the immigrants in this case. Sure, the immigrants are the people demanding for the erasure of the English people, but I won't blame them. I'm not going to be blaming the Muslims who claim that seeing English people walking their dogs or seeing pubs around the English shires makes them feel left out and is a kind of an attack on their religion. I'm not going to blame people like this man who is clearly African, who thinks that a white country he immigrated into has a countryside that still retains its native demographic. I know that these immigrants are the people who are trying to achieve the destruction of this white nation. But in this case, I'm not going to blame them at all, because they can say whatever they want to. They can complain however they want to. They can try to plant whatever narrative they wish to. But at the end of the day, it lies with the English people and English leaders to make the entire decision. So yes, I am blaming the leaders, the cowards who call themselves leaders of places like the UK, in this case, England. The Labour Party is the party who is investing millions of pounds to bring about the destruction of its own nation. The leaders who are supposed to be fighting for their own country are in fact the people who are fighting to see it destroyed. How disappointing. These guys are willing to sabotage their own country just for votes. Votes. You think people like these Muslims complaining or this black guy complaining will support you when you go to their native countries and demand that their native countries be less black or less Muslim? You think they will tolerate that nonsense from you? No. They will spit on you. They will destroy you. They will haul on you the worst insult you have ever experienced. But here, they are clamoring for the extermination of what makes you, you, and you are clapping for them. You encourage them. You call them revolutionary thinkers. Shame on you, British leaders. Shame on you, left-wing Britons. It is not enough that these immigrants have soiled the entire nation, have destroyed big cities, have turned everything upside down. Now they are trying to extend their cancerous presence to rural areas in England in a bid to stamp their domination and their invasion on these areas that have managed to retain the core origins of England. England is a white country and will always be a white country. The fact that England opened its arms to welcome immigrants into their country doesn't mean that it is wrong to have white people in England. Neither does it become evil to have areas in England that look inherently English. I don't know why the West tolerates the most nonsensical ideologies. I don't know why they are so eager to welcome their own destruction. I was expecting this kind of proposition of making English countryside less white to be met with complete demolition by the government and by the English people. I was expecting them to be outraged about this idea, to even arrest those who initiated the thought, because this is nothing short of replacement. But instead, I was shocked to see the British government affirming these narratives and even investing millions, if not billions of pounds to make it happen. Imagine going to Nigeria and saying that Nigeria looks very black and needs to be made less black. I'm not even talking about going to Nigerian countryside, going to the very hidden and rural areas in Nigeria. No, I'm talking about just Nigeria as a whole. You can be in the biggest city in Nigeria and make this statement and expect the most cruel backlash you have ever received in your life. And again, you can never try this same nonsense in India. You cannot go to Afghanistan and repeat this same kind of crazy sentiment. You cannot travel down to Pakistan and allow that nonsense to escape your stupid lips. People in these parts of the world that I mentioned will destroy you, and they would be in their right to do so. Now, why is it okay for this same sentiment to be echoed in the Western world? And why is it wrong if Westerners oppose it? Nigerians will not want to be replaced by a bunch of Indians and Japanese and Romanians and Russians. In the same way, China or Bangladesh will not want their country to look more like North Korea or America in terms of culture. Non-Western countries will not tolerate this nonsense, but the West is welcoming their own demise with open arms. Chai, the West is finished indeed. The replacement is no longer a theory, but a reality. I specifically wanted to call your attention to this big mess, and I hope against hope that this doesn't come to actualization. As always, guys, these are my thoughts and my opinions. Please feel free to share yours in the comment section below, but do so respectfully. Also, if you're not subscribed to this channel, honestly, I don't know what you're waiting for. Subscribe to the channel. Like and share this video to keep people informed, and consider joining my membership or buying me a coffee if you like, as a way of supporting the channel. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope to catch you on the next one. For now, peace.